Hey everybody, I'm Rick, and this is Let's Level Up, and today I'm really excited to bring you a brand new expansion to one of my favorite card games, Smash Up. This is the Obligatory Cthulhu expansion from AEG. This actually is going to introduce 4 new factions to the game, and also a new madness mechanic, and just look at him. Look how cute Cthulhu is. He's just adorable, those little tentacles and his wings and his ability to end everything in an instant. My gosh. I'm a huge Cthulhu nerd. I love the universe, the Cthulhu mythos. I love Lovecraft's short stories and whatnot, and designing this mythos. I really love the Chaosium 6th edition role-playing game. Some of my favorite role-playing experiences has been in that universe. This game is going to bring a little bit of that flavor to Smash Up. So if you're not familiar with Smash Up, I've actually have 2 other videos on the channel regarding Smash Up, one for the base set and one for the awesome level 9000 expansion. I definitely recommend you guys give those a look. We're going to go through this expansion, we're going to look at the new madness mechanic, and we're going to look over some of the new factions right after this jump. As always, thank you for watching, and if you like, drop us a thumbs up and shoot us a comment on the channel. Thank you so much. Let's get to it. Alright, so when we open up the Obligatory Cthulhu Set, we're going to see a couple things that are pretty familiar if you've played Smash Up before. First and foremost, you're going to get another AEG very well written manual for this game. It teaches you how to play Smash Up and then gives you also a rundown of the different new factions and also the madness mechanic that's unique to this set. Really good, really witty, well written manuals that AEG provides in almost all of their games. I can't think of one that I didn't like. You're also going to get a new set of victory tokens as well. So 5-point and 1-point victory tokens. We're on the top left there. We've got our madness deck, which we'll get into in a second. We have our bases, and then we have our 4 different factions. And now what we're going to do in this video is kind of go through there, show you some of the new cards, and kind of explain a little bit of how I think these will be good with some of the other decks and the other factions that are already in the game. So let's take a look at it. First and foremost, let's look at the madness cards. Okay, so when you're playing the Obligatory Cthulhu Set, there's going to be a new deck that's going to be kind of a neutral resource for all players, and this is the madness deck. Now every card in this deck is going to be the same. It's just a card that's called madness. And if you get a madness card, you can use it just like you would any other action in this game. Remember, with Smash Up, you're going to be playing 1 action and 1 minion on your turn in order to try to break the bases and score points. Now, this card says draw 2 cards or return this card to the madness deck. Now, there's a catch. There are going to be some factions that are going to be prone to giving people a lot of madness cards. There are going to be some factions that actually can use these madness cards and get a little stronger. And some factions that are built around getting rid of these cards and doing extra things. At the end of the game, remember the game is over whenever somebody scores 15 victory points. And when that happens, everybody's going to look through their discard piles, their hands, and their deck, and going to total the number of madness cards that they have. You are going to lose 1 victory point for every 2 madness cards you have in those 3 situations. So for example, I have 6 madness cards total. I hit a score of 15, I technically would be winning the game in normal Smash Up. Unfortunately, these madness cards drop me down to a score of 12. Now, we don't keep playing. This is after the game is already concluded. So if somebody had a score of 14 when I hit my 15, and I end up losing 3 points, I am no longer the winner of the game. So these are cards that are going to let you actually get a little more powerful as the game goes through and utilize some more techniques that are unique to this set. But also, you're going to want to try to keep as little of these as possible when the game comes to an end. Okay, let's take a look at some of the new bases that are associated with this set. First base here is going to be Relay. And forgive me, I'm going to mispronounce pretty much everything in this set, and that's okay. It has a power or a base score of 18, which means we have 18 total power in order to break this base. First place will get 4 points, second place 2 points, and runner-up will get 1 point. And this says, at the start of each player's turn, that player may destroy one of their minions here. If they do, they gain 1 victory point. Very interesting. 20, Mountains of Madness. Wow, huge points for this for first place. 6 points, 4 points for fourth, 3 points for runner-up. After each time a minion is played here, the owner draws a Madness card. The Antarctic Base, 24 points, 24 breaking score, 5 points for first, 3 for second, 2 for runner-up. Players cannot play more than 1 minion on this base each turn. Plateau of Lang, 18, 3, 2, and 1. After the first time a player plays a minion here each turn, they can play an extra minion of the same name here. Very interesting. Innsmouth, 23 score, 5 for first place, 3 for second, 2 for runner-up. After each time a minion is played here, its owner may place 1 card from any player's discard pile on the bottom of their deck. Very interesting. It says any player, so if that could be you, if you were, if you're any player, which you are. 20, Ritual Site, first place 4 points, 2 points for second, 2 points for runner-up. After this base scores, all minions on it are shuffled into their owner's decks rather than discard pile. Wow, I like this a whole lot. This works a lot with some of the bigger monster factions like dinosaurs and the bear cavalry. Let's see, 16 for the Asylum. It's a 3/1/1. After each time a minion is played here, the owner may return a Madness card from their hand back to the Madness deck. Interesting. And finally, we have the Miskatonic University for 24. This is going to be a 3/3/2, and it says, after the base scores, the winner may search their hand and discard pile for any number of Madness cards and return them to the Madness deck. Wow, so that's pretty big. It's a good way for you to lose some of the Madness cards that you've got. And this one here is especially powerful because it says the winner of this. Now, this is kind of a high base, but if you can win this and get first place, you can discard all of your Madness cards that are in your discard pile and your hand. So really powerful stuff. Okay, so now let's talk about the 4 different factions. And just a quick overview, we have the Minions of Cthulhu here, which are designated by the tentacle. We have Innsmouth, which are the people of Innsmouth, essentially, the town from the Cthulhu mythos. We have the Miskatonic University employees. And we have the Elder Things, which are kind of all the old, the other gods other than Cthulhu. So what's funny about this set is Cthulhu is not actually in it at all. Cthulhu, they have their minions of Cthulhu and the servants, and like the different cultists and whatnot that are in this set. But Cthulhu himself is not actually gracing it, because if Cthulhu came out, everybody would go insane and everybody would die, essentially. So AEG's kind of kept the mythos strong in that standpoint. So let's go through each of these decks, look at some of the minions and some of the actions. Okay, first up is the Minions of Cthulhu. Again, it's going to be the tentacle here in the bottom right. This is a 2-power minion called the Servitor of Cthulhu, and there are going to be 4 copies of this guy. He has a talent. Destroy this minion and place an action card from your discard pile on the top of your deck. So a way for you to cycle actions. Destroy this guy. He's not worth much power, and you'll be able to get an action back. Next up, we have a minion power 3, and it's going to be Cthulhu's Chosen. And its special is before base scores, you may draw a Madness card. This minion gets +2 power until the end of the turn, if you draw that card. And there's 3 of those in there. There's a 5 there. Star Spawn of Cthulhu. It's got a talent as well. Place a Madness card from your hand into another player's hand. Okay, and that's the big one there. So total minions, there are going to be 3 different minions, 4 2s, 3 3s, and 1 5. So not super minion heavy in this set, in this faction rather. Action, Corruption, draw a Madness card, destroy a minion. 2 sets of Corruption. The seal is broken. Draw a madness card, gain a victory point. Ooh, huge. Any cards that let you get victory points, like the Aliens Invader, are big cards to have in your deck. Furthering the cause. Action, play on a base, ongoing. At the end of every turn, if another player's minions here was destroyed, gain a victory point. Another huge one. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine if you had pirates or something like that to destroy minions? Or the Bear Cavalry? Goodness. Madness Unleashed. Discard any number of Madness cards. For each one discarded, you may draw a card and play an extra action this turn. Very cool. The Altar of Cthulhu. Play on a base. Whenever you play a minion here, you may play an extra action that turn. Complete the Ritual. Play on a base. When you have at least one minion, where you have at least one minion, at the start of your turn, place all minions and actions on the bottom of their owner's decks and swap this base with the top card of the base deck. Wow, so that's just kind of resetting everything at that base. Recruit by Force. Place any number of minions of power 3 or less from the discard pile on the top of your deck. From your discard pile. And Whispers of Darkness. Draw a Madness card. You may play 2 extra actions this turn. There's 2 of those in this faction. It Begins Again. Shuffle any number of actions from your discard pile into your deck. And the Cthulhu Set. Reveal cards from the top of your deck until you have revealed 2 actions. Place them into your hand and put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your deck. So this is a pretty interesting deck. It kind of reminds me a little bit of what the Steampunk bring to the table from the last set. Of course, rather than really heavy on the actions like the Steampunk are, this is kind of heavy on the madness mechanic, which I would expect from this set. Okay, next up is going to be the good guys. These are the Miskatonic University guys. We're going to start out with the minions again. Here we have the Researcher, and there are 4 copies of him. You may draw a Madness card for 2. There's a Psychologist. You may return a Madness card from your hand or discard pile to the Madness deck. There's going to be 3 copies of her. The Librarian. 4. Talent, discard a Madness card if you do draw a card. 5. Professor. Talent, discard a Madness card. If you do, you may play an extra action or an extra minion. Okay, those are all of the minions there. So now for some of the very much Scooby-Doo themed cards here on the actions. Old Man Jenkins. Special, before a base is scored, destroy a minion there with the highest power. Huge ability there. Those Meddling Kids. Destroy any number of actions played on a base. Jinkies. Return up to 2 Madness cards from your hand or discard pile to the Madness deck. There's 2 copies of that. Field Trip. Play any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck and then draw a card for each card you place there. Pretty big. That's so crazy. Draw a Madness card. Each of your minions has +1 power until the end of your turn. You may play an extra action this turn. Oh, there's only 1 copy of that. It just might work. Discard a Madness card to give each of your minions +1 power until the end of your turn. Gate to Beyond. Play on a base. Talent, draw a Madness card. You may play an extra minion here. Things Best Not Known. Special. Before a base scores, choose a minion there. Draw up to 3 Madness cards. That minion gets +2 power for each card, or each Madness card you draw. So you can eventually end up giving your minion +6 on this turn. I'm sorry, that's permanent as well. Oh, but it's before a base scores, so that minion is going to be basically sent to the discard pile right after that. So, interesting. These are the Miskatonic guys. Pretty neat little faction. Next up are the Elder Things. These are all the other creatures that go bump in the night in the Cthulhu mythos that aren't actually Cthulhu. Excuse me. Let me get there on frame. So we have Again, 4 level 2s. Byakhee. Each other player with a minion at this base draws a Madness card. There's a level 3 Migo. Each other player may draw a Madness card. For each other player that does not, you can draw a card. Ooh. Oh, wow. I just saw the score for the Elder thing. Level 6 Shoggoth. You can play this minion on a base where you have at least 6 power. Or you can only play this minion on the base where you have at least 6 power. Each other player may draw a Madness card. Destroy a minion here belonging to each other player who does not do so. There are 2 copies of that. And 10, the Elder Thing. 10 is the biggest minion in this game. Destroy 2 of your other minions, or place this minion on the bottom of your deck. This minion is not affected by your opponent's cards. Right away, I'm really feeling zombies with this deck, or bear cavalry, or dinosaurs. Any of the other really big ones. Action, begin the summoning. Action, place your minion from your discard pile on the top of your deck. You may play an extra action this turn. 2 copies of that. Insanity. Action, each other player draws 2 Madness cards. 1 copy of that. The Dunwich Horror. Play out a minion. This minion gains 5 power. Destroy the minion at the end of this turn. Touch of Madness. Each other player draws a Madness card. Draw a card and play an extra action this turn. A lot of giving Madness in this deck. Spreading the Horror. Each other player discards a card at random until that player discards a non-Madness card. Unfathomable Gods. All other players reveal his or her hands. Each player who reveals a Madness card must destroy one of their minions. The Power of Madness. All other players reveal their hands, discard all Madness cards, and then shuffle their discard pile back in their deck. There's going to be 2 of those. And that's going to be it. These are the Elder Gods, or the Elder Things. Last but certainly not least is going to be the people of Innsmouth. And one thing you'll notice here, the people of Innsmouth, is that all of their minions are the same exact card. They're all 2 on their power scale. And they say, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Place the locals revealed into your hand. Put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your deck. Again, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 copies of that. Which means you're going to have 10 minions and 10 actions in this deck. Okay. New Acolytes. All players shuffle all minions in their discard piles back into their decks. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine this with zombies? Or really even something that gave you more cycling as well. Like wizards. Play on a base. Talent, you may play an extra minion here with the same name as another minion here. In plain sight. Play on a base. Your minions here have a power of 2 or less, are not affected by opponent's cards. Spreading the word. Play up to 2 extra minions with the same name as a minion in play. 2 copies of that. And return to the sea. After a base scores, put any number of minions with the same name on the base into your hand instead of into the discard pile. The Deep Ones. Each of your minions with power 2 or less gets +1 power until the end of turn. 2 copies of that. And Recruitment. Draw up to 3 Madness cards. For each one drawn, you may play 1 extra minion this turn. And finally, Mysteries of the Deep. If you have 3 or more minions with the same name on a base, draw 3 cards. Then you may play 2 additional cards and 2 Madness cards. Oh, sorry, draw 2 additional cards and 2 Madness cards. I was fixing to just faint over how powerful that could have been. So there it is. Those are the 4 factions. Again, they're all kind of built around this Madness mechanic, which leads me to one of my only complaints about this set. And it honestly isn't too big of a complaint. One thing I love about this set is going to be its theme. That being said, if you don't have one of the factions from this set, the madness mechanic is never going to really be in play unless you happen to get a base that promotes that. The new mechanic that they introduced with madness is only applicable if you play this set. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, duh. But, with Awesome Level 9000, it introduced just the 4 new factions, the new redesigned base cards, and the level tokens, which is great. I can still play Awesome Level 9000 even if I don't have the plants, the bears, the spirits, or the steampunk guys there, because I still at least have the new bases and I've got the scoring tokens I can use. With this game, if I'm not playing one of the 4 factions here, the madness mechanic never even basically comes to existence. So it's like I'm not playing with it at all. Now, that being said, it's a very, very small gripe, and maybe one not even worth mentioning. But something to keep in count. If you don't want to have the madness be a factor, the Cthulhu set is not going to be for you because it's very, very heavy. And again, it's almost a gotcha at the end of it after everything is scored. So you could technically lose the game if you have too much madness. So what I really like about these factions here is that they bring a very good sense of balance to this new mechanic. I worry about future expansions and the possibility of maybe invalidating this new mechanic. I'd like to see a more universal mechanic displayed throughout all the factions and the newer, the newer expansions or the newer sets that will be released next year sometime. That being said, I'm a huge fan of Cthulhu. I'm a huge fan of Smash Up. If you are as well, this is going to be a must-buy for you guys. It's about $15 or $20 depending on where you look online. Check your local stores. I'm sure they'll have a copy of this as well. I definitely highly recommend this. If you're a Smash Up fan like I am, it's a must-have. If you're a fan of Cthulhu, again, it's a must-have. What's really good about these expansions and the way that AEG's designed them is that this little box here is playable by itself for 2 people. You don't have to have the base set, and you don't have to have Awesome Level 9000 to enjoy this, which again is another huge value for you. So if you don't care for Smash Up, but you're a big Cthulhu freak, you can buy this and play it with somebody and really enjoy it. Alternatively, if you're a huge Smash Up fan as well and you have the other two sets, then this is just going to be a bigger piece of that pie for you, a bigger piece of that Smash Up pie, which I think at the end of the day we're all trying to get a hold of. So if you guys like this review, again, please give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and please follow us as well on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you so much, and game on.